Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Custom Carving and Epoxy UK. Reggie says hi as well. One of these days I'll keep him out of these intros, but there we go. So a lot of you on Facebook have been talking to me about glitter, and we know that I'm not particularly fond of glitter, but Resin has very kindly sent me some of their ultra fine laser glitter. So I thought it'd be rude of me not to try them. So in this particular project, I'm going to try and get them in a 3D bloom to see if it's possible. I've not seen anybody add the ultrafine glitter to their bloom paste yet. So that's what this project's about. So let's get straight into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Custom Carving and Epoxy UK. I hope you're all doing well. So this is going to be another coaster experiment, but I've been told on a few of these Q&A chats that I need to start embracing my glittery side. And since Resin has very kindly sent me these laser glitters as part of a Christmas present, I thought it'd be rude not to at least try them out. So these are ultra-fine laser glitter is what it says on the box, so hopefully there won't be as much sinking is what I'm thinking. And they're 1 by 128 ultra-fine glitter is what it says. So I've got 3 different colours, and I thought it would be interesting to try glitters, different ones. So the 3 different colours I'm going to use. So I've got this gold, this silver, which is really, really holographic. I like the look of that one. And this green with a little bit of ocean white to create almost a bloom paste, and differentiate them in a 3D bloom and back it with just some plain black and see if it works for a start. So if we get that separate glitter effect just from mixing in different glitters with the ocean white, and to see what effect it has on the bloom overall as well, and whether or not these sync, because I don't know, I've never worked with them before. I'm going to be using the high gloss finish from Apex Resin, which is available at Just For You online. Again, if you want any of this, there's a discount code which is ccukresin for you to use. So I'm going to be doing 4 coasters here, but I need a little bit extra. Now these coaster molds probably fit around about 3.5 ounces of resin each, but you don't want to fill them anyway, because if you fill them, for me they just look far too thick for a coaster. So I want them probably about 3/4 of the way full is where I find sort of the best. So I've got some spare molds by the side of me because I'm expecting to have a little bit of extra resin, and any excess that I get I can just pour into those and make either some pocket hugs or some key rings out of. So I'm going to mix up 10 ounces of resin, and the way I'm doing that is I've got one of these big silicone measuring cups, and I just mark out my line from a A and my line from a B. So I'm going to put that in there, stir it up as normal to make sure there's no streaks, put it in my debubbling machine, the Airless Pro from Resiners. Again, if you want to get yourself one of them, there's a discount code for that as well, which is ccuk. But I'm just going to put this in, wait for it to get up to temperature. Now, because I'm using glitters, there is a risk that it's going to be quite heavy. So I am going to wait for this to get to around about 35 degrees before I do anything with it. So I'm just going to mix up the resin and we'll be right back. Here we go, guys, and I'm back. And the resin at the minute is at about 33 degrees, so not far off. And it's the first time, I think it's the first time I've actually used the Apex high gloss for a bloom, so it'd be interesting just to see how it works in general. So far it's taken around about 35 minutes to get up to temperature. My room here is about 21 degrees, and as you can see it's at 33.4 now. Lovely crystal clear resin, and I've used it on lots of other projects, but I think it is the first time I've actually used it for a bloom. So what I'm going to do, just to keep the heat a little bit, is I'm just going to pour a little bit of resin into each of these pots for my 3 different glitter bloom pastes, and I'm thinking that I'm probably going to need around about 1/3 of one of these for each one. And there's that, and I'm going to leave the rest in here so it maintains that heat at the minute and probably still carries on going up a little bit just while I mix these. And as I say, I'm going to be using the ocean white from Let's Resin, and I should just need, I would estimate, a drop in each. So I'm going to get a drop in each. Normally I find that I get one drop and a little bit of string when I do it, which tends to work quite well. That's that one. And again, I think this is going to be reasonably heavy. That's my only concern, is that I think it is going to be quite heavy because of the glitter, even though it's an ultra fine one. So it's about 1.5 drops I'm going with, because I've actually filled these pots pretty well, which I don't normally do. So just hoping I've got enough resin left to give me a nice surface there. But as you can see, it's just 1 drop going in those. And in fact, I'm just going to check the temperature of my resin again. And that's now up to 36. So I am going to pour. So literally, I'm just going to pour it in. You want around about 1/2 centimetre on each coaster that you're doing. Doesn't need to be too thick, guys. And especially with these, I might end up putting a back on them. So I'm just going to try and get it reasonably even in each of these. Like so. And I've got a little bit spare there, but I've not got the right mould next to me, what I wanted to use if I had spare. So I'm just going to top these up because I've got an idea for any spare resin at the end. But now I need to get a bit of a shifty on because I've poured my resin. So as always, with these moulds, and any moulds in fact, first thing you're going to want to do is just go around the edge, make sure you're getting rid of any bubbles that might be in there. So just going to go around the edge of each like that. And that just encourages any of those bubbles that are trapped in the crease or the right angle of the mould to come up to that surface. And I guarantee you, if you don't do this, you will have bubbles in that little crack. So again, it's just worth going around, spending a couple of seconds now so you don't regret it if you get a great finished product. And I'm a little bit concerned because last project I did, I noticed my surface was slightly unlevel and I haven't re-leveled it. So probably a silly thing to do, but we'll see how we get on. So just going to get some of my mixing sticks for the whites and make sure that they are at the right sort of thickness. And I can feel it heating up actually, which is good. So again, just mixing it through thoroughly, as you can see. And you want it to be quite opaque, but you still want to be able to see your stick through it. So I think that is about right, and I've judged it about right. Feels like it anyway. And then don't forget, we've still got to add the glitters to these. And I don't know if this is going to work or not, but worst case scenario, I thought, worst case, we'll just have a nice colourful glittery coaster. So again, just mixing each one of these round so that that white is thoroughly mixed. And you get that nice, almost skim milk consistency is what you're looking for. There we go. So that is a lovely colour. And then I'm thinking for the back on these, and I always think ahead. With me using glitter, I might just do a black base coat, so it will really hopefully make them stand out anyway, the glitters. And again, I'm not a massive fan of glitters, but I thought, you know what, Resin has very kindly sent me them. I want to try them out and see what they look like. And this is just an interesting way of doing it, because I've not seen anybody out there actually put glitter in their bloom paste before they create a bloom. So again, I thought it was something that was quite unique, and I always want to do something what I haven't seen done before. So the first one's this green, laser light green they call it. And this is where we find out they've all got these little silver lids, which are so annoying to take off usually. Especially when you've got your gloves on, and especially when I should have probably done this before I started the project. And I don't want to get glitter all over the moulds either at this point, guys, which is always the risk with normal glitter, never mind ultra fine. Now again, just to keep them, look at that, look at all those colours, really, really bright. So I'm going to add pretty much 1.5 scoops to each one of these. So that's the green. Again, the risk is here, I don't know if the bloom paste is going to cover up that glitter so you don't actually see it as well. That's also a possibility. But I'm just hoping that it doesn't, and we still get a nice finish. So I'm just mixing that round, and then that is going to go straight into one of my cups that I've got ready here with a piping bag. So that is my green. And I am expecting to have quite a bit spare here, guys, but I've got a plan for it with some spare moulds afterwards. So hopefully that will go to plan as well. So that's my green. Next I'm going to go in with the silver, which is this, again, lovely colours. Absolutely love it. And I'm just hoping that with it being ultra fine, it doesn't sink. So that is my silver. And I think that's my favourite out of the two so far. But as I say, this is very strange for me, guys, because I don't normally go with glitter. Just going to torch the surface of these as well to get rid of any of those bubbles that might be on the surface. And that's why we brought them up to the top, to hopefully get rid of them. But you don't normally get many bubbles either with this Apex high gloss. So again, it's quite a good resin for that. So again, you can see those colours. Now I'm just going to mix it all through thoroughly. So that is going to be my silver. And again, let me know in comments, guys, do you think this is going to work? Or do you think it's just going to make a mess? One of the two things will certainly happen. So that is the silver. And I'm just intrigued as to what, if this blooms, if I'll get the 3 separate glitters coming up as like different petals, like I would do if I did mica powders, or if it's going to all combine, basically. And B, if I get those petal effects at all. That's another one with the with the silver thing on. I really wish, and I can understand why they do it, to keep everything secure, but I wish companies found an easier solution to these metal things, because they're an absolute pain. There we go. So this is that gold, and again, really quite a dark, colourful gold, this one. So again, I'm just going to put pretty much 2 scoops, because again, I don't want it to be too heavy, but I do want that glitter to shine through. And if it doesn't, then it's pointless me using glitter, so we will see. But that's the 3 different glitters that I've tried. And then it's going to be down to my piping skills, which if you follow the channel, you know aren't very good most of the time, so we will see. I think I've got my temperatures right though, because it is feeling a little bit warm, which is what you want normally for this to bloom properly. And again, it's losing some of that glitteriness with the white bloom paste, but I'm hoping that as it cures, the glitter will sort of rise to the top of that bloom paste and still give us that sparkly effect. There we go. So that is my gold. So that's all 3 glitters in the bag, ready to go. And I think I'm going to actually start with the gold. I really like the look of that. In fact, I've missed the silver. I haven't done the silver after all that. Oh, I have. I've mixed the gold and the silver together in the same piping bag, guys. Well, just shows you when you're recording, not everything goes right. So I've actually mixed that silver and gold in the same piping bag now, so it's going to be even more interesting. Look at that. So yeah, that wasn't planned, but again, it could still work. So I'm not defeated. I've just got a very full piping bag here, so I need to be very careful as I'm piping this out. But as you can see, that's the silver and the gold mixed in together. So we'll see what happens with that. And then I've still got the green in its separate bag. God, why did I do that? Oh dear. I could do this experiment 100 times over and not make that mistake, but because I'm recording, that's why I've done it. So apologies for that, guys. We're not going to quite have the same effect as I'd planned, but I'm hopeful that we'll still see the effect. So this is what your piping bag should actually look like when it hasn't got 2 pots in. And this is my green. So I'm probably going to start off, I think, with the green, and then go over it with the mixed gold and silver now. So we'll see how we get on. So again, I'm just going to snip off the tiniest bit, probably about halfway if you look, where the resin is pretty much, you can see that little air bubble. I'm probably going to go about halfway on that, and hopefully it should just drip out naturally is what I'm looking for, which it is. So green first, and I'm just going to go with the general spiral design. There we go. Starting in the centre leaving enough space for that second layer and getting it pretty close to the edge, but hopefully not touching the edge like so. That's one. And again, I'm trying to keep these reasonably the same design. They don't have to be perfect, guys, because you're going to draw your bloom in afterwards anyway. That's two. And you do want to make sure that you are putting enough in there, though, to enable it to bloom. I think that's where a lot of beginners go wrong with blooms. They either make it too thin and don't give it enough chance to bloom, or they do it on the opposite scale, too thick, and then they get the B word everywhere. So that is my green glitter and white bloom paste. Now I'm already a bit concerned about the next one because it's got twice the quantity in, so it's going to want to come out heavier, and I can't believe I did that. Do I pipe some of it out, or do I just go with it now? I think I'm just going to go with it, guys. It's in there, so we're going to go with it and see what happens. Again, I could have put alcohol inks on this as well, but I decided not to. So this is probably going to be a blend of the two, to be honest. So the silver and the gold hopefully will have blended in the bag. And if you can see, I'm just trying to go in the gap without making it too heavy, hopefully, and hopefully not getting the B word. Again, coming all the way out to the edge, and that's that one. But take your time with this, guys, because, as I say, it will be quite heavy. There's that one. And this is real time, guys. I'm not doing it slow, because anything I can do to prevent the B word, I want to do. And there is quite a lot going in here, so I think we have got a risk of it, but we'll find out. You never know until the next day. One of the beauties of working with resin. There we go. And as you can see, I've got a lot of spare left on that, but that's okay. I've got a plan for it in a minute. So I can already see it does look like it's sinking a little. So I'm going to be quite quick here in actually putting in my design to hopefully prevent it. So I'm going to start with this one. Again, using the clock method, like so. And I'm just hoping it's not too heavy, guys. So that is number one. Giving it a bit of a swirl around, like so. Number two, exactly the same design. And just remember at this point, guys, you don't want to be touching the base of your mold, because if you are, you're probably going too deep. But I just thought this would be a really interesting design, and it was a good experiment with glitter. This one next. And I've just got some kitchen roll in that one. Bit too vigorous on wiping my stick there, or dotting tool. Gonna give this a little swirl as well. And this one. And then the final one, exactly the same. because I do want these to match ideally. And I can already see through that I think there's a risk of the B word in the centre, but we'll find out. There we go, and then just swirling that one as well, hopefully stopping the B word. Now it's up to you whether you pull these out or not. I like doing it because I prefer that little petal shape that you get, but I tend to do it sort of halfway, which basically I think almost gives you two separate types of petals in the same bloom. But it's completely up to you how you do it. Your blooms, do it your way. And this is going to be really interesting to me as to what effects I'm going to get, if any, and if that glitter, what it turns out like mixed in with the bloom paste. And as I say, I don't think I've seen it done before. Probably with good reason, but you never know. Or maybe people have tried it and it hasn't turned out and they've just not put the video on, which is another possibility. But you know me, whether it works out or not, the video will go on. There we go. And then this one as well. And my kitchen roll seems to be disintegrating in front of me. And there we go, that is petals pretty much drawn in. Looks like it's trying to bloom, which is good. I'm just going to torch the top again. And then that's pretty much all I can do, apart from pray that the B word doesn't happen. But as I say, when I put it in there, it did feel heavy. So I'm not holding up too much hope, if I'm being honest, guys, but we'll see. Now, with all of this spare white bloom paste and glitter that I've got to start stocking the shop because I haven't updated it. And I'm thinking to do some either more key rings or some pocket hugs, basically, with these bear molds that I've got at the sides. So again, I'm just going to mix these in and hopefully get 6 of these done. But what I am going to do, just to give it a bit of difference, is I've got my alcohol inks at the side of me. So I'm just going to, I suppose, put some of these Let's Resin alcohol inks directly into these molds. Now, it does stain your molds a little bit, but I've used them afterwards and it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But whenever you're using the white bloom paste, it just adds an extra dimension. So again, this one first. And as you can see, no particular order. I'm just going around these with a few dots of this ink. That was red, or Sagittite. I've got some sapphire blue as well. He says, if you can get the lid off, there we go. And again, just going to dot it in randomly. And then I'm probably going to go for one more colour. And I think these mixed with that glittery bloom paste will actually come out really well. Probably better than the blooms do. We will see. So that is that one. Now the only one I do want to avoid using is my peach red, because for me that really doesn't come out with great colours. It does on its own, but oh, I haven't even opened that one. Forest green. Here we go. I have got an emerald green though, so I'll use that. And again, just gives it an extra dimension of colour for me. Anywhere where it needs it, I'm just going to put a dot of it in. And then hopefully we'll get some really cool, colourful little bears. And it stops you wasting your resin, which is always a good thing. And there we go. Maybe, oh, that came out a little bit too quick there. We're going to have a very green one on the end. So I've got the most of this white and gold mixture. And I can probably fill them just with this, to be honest, but we will see. So I'm just going to pipe it in. Here we go. Getting rid of the air first. And then out we go. And I just love the way that when you do it like this, all the inks kind of mix together with the resin. And I think you get a really cool pattern. And as I say, it does stain your mould a little bit, but you can use it again and still get crystal clear resin out. You haven't got to worry about it too much. So here we go. And I'm hoping that we still get some of that glitter coming through as well with these colours. And then just sorting out my bag. You have still got to be careful, guys, when you're using these piping bags, because unless you are, it will squeeze out the back. There we go. And then the last one, at least for this piping bag, is going to be this little guy here. And sorry about the camera angle, I know it's not the best. But I'm trying to do this without getting it absolutely everywhere, guys. There we go. And I just want them almost full, but not quite, because then what I'm going to do, and I've still got a tiny bit in there, so I am going to find a spare mould in a second. But now I'm just going to top them with this green one as well, like so. And I think either way we should have some pretty cool key rings here. Or pocket hugs. So if the blooms don't work out, at least something's come out of the project. And if they don't work out, I'm never using glitter again. Oh dear. Again, might as well just get rid of all of this. Into these. So that the moulds are completely filled. There we go. So I've got the 6 bears done. And I have got, as I say, the tiniest bit of that glitter left, but I haven't got a tiny little mould by me, which is very unlike me. So I may have to waste a little bit of resin, which is really unlike me. In fact, no, I'm going to grab another mould. Here we go. I'm going to use a drip mould as well. So whichever one I pick up first will be the mould. And it looks like it's the rabbit. So again, anything spare now. I'm just going to put straight into this rabbit mould, making sure that I'm using up every little drop of the resin. And this will be my latest drip mould. And a few of you have asked what drip moulds are, and basically this is all it is, guys. I'm just literally pouring any spare resin straight into it, and that's what I call a drip mould. And you get some really cool effects sometimes that do surprise you. So there's that, and then I'm going to scrape my pots in there as well. As you can see, there's still a tiny bit in each pot, and it just means that none of your resin goes to waste. And hopefully you'll get a cool piece as well, an extra piece that you're not expecting in about 3 or 4 projects. So that is the rest of the gold. And I'm really annoyed that I blended those two together by accident, guys, so apologies for that. But I suppose I just wasn't concentrating as I was doing the video, so apologies, and hopefully we'll still get a cool effect. So that is the rest of that silver. And now the rest of the gold. And I do really like the gold in the glitter, actually, which are words I never thought I would say. But it is a really nice colour, and I'm probably going to do some transparent with just the glitter. Don't know what yet, probably some animals or something like that, just to see what it comes out like. But there we go, so that is all of my resin used. And I'm just going to torch the backs of them once again in case any bubbles have come up, especially with the fact I'm using glitter, it's more likely. Just to get rid of any bubbles. It does look like they're blooming though. I'm just hoping that they bloom and don't blob, which is always a risk. So we will find out. I'm going to come back in probably about 5 hours now. It's 4:30 now, so 9:30 tonight, put a black back on these, and then we can demold tomorrow. If you haven't already though, do me a favour, like and subscribe to the channel because it makes a massive difference. If you're watching on your TV, like 60% of you do, according to my analytics, do me a favour, pick up your phone, log into YouTube and just like and subscribe. It makes a massive difference to the channel and it will mean I have a much nicer Christmas. So please do that for me and I'll see you in 4 or 5 hours. Hey guys, and we're back, and it's been about 6 hours and these look pretty cured and they look pretty interesting at the minute, the design. I'm just hoping that we haven't had the dreaded B word and that something has come out on the other side, on the front. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to mix up, I think about 80 ml to be honest with you. Maybe 100 to go across these 4. But what I'm going to do is instead of using the high gloss, I'm going to use the fast cure now. So the great thing about this fast cure is it only takes a couple of hours to actually cure. So the great thing about that for me is I know in the morning I can come and demold this and both layers are going to be cured, so I don't really have to worry too much. And the plan is here. With the fast cure, again, I'm going to be adding some of this black pigment and maybe a touch more glitter. So I'm not going to worry about putting it through the debubbling machine or anything like that. I'm just literally going to mix it straight away. And it is quite thick, this, guys. So you need to realise whenever you use a fast cure resin, it's going to be quite thick. And you can get around that by putting it in a water bath. Personally, I don't. I just persevere. So again, it's just a case of mixing it like you would do any other resin. 4 to 5 minutes until it is completely streak free. So again, I'm just going to use one of these silicone tools. And if you look, you can almost see the separate parts in there. But all I'm going to do is mix it around thoroughly. Add some of that black pigment. Pour it on. Torch the bubbles and then we get to demold everything in the morning. So it's pretty straightforward, this part. And as I say, I've got some really interesting effects looking at those petals, and I'm just hoping that I haven't got any of the B word. If I haven't got any blobs, then I'll be very happy because I think we'll get a really interesting petal result, which looks quite different to the ones I've had before actually. So we will see how we get on. But again, just mixing it round thoroughly so that it is thoroughly mixed. Scrape the bottom, scrape the sides, and look guys, it is going to be thicker, but that's the same with all fast cures, and I found this one actually works really well, so I'm quite happy with it. So all I'm going to do now is that is mixed round, pretty much ready to go, and I want this to be dark, so I've got about 90 ml in there, and I'm going to add just 2 drops of this black resin dye paste. 1, 2. And it doesn't take a lot of this stuff, guys. And this I found gives you a really true black, which is amazing, which I don't think you get with mica powders. And that's why I ended up getting a resin dye paste, because if you look, that's just that 2 drops, mix it round, and almost straight away it's got that dark shiny black, which is what I was looking for. Now, just because I'm experimenting with glitters as well, I think I'm going to add some silver glitter to this as well. Not too much, just a scoopful I think, to see what that does, because hopefully then we'll still see the glitter with the dark back. And if you're going to experiment with something, you might as well go all in. So we've got glitter in the blooms, let's have a little bit in the black. And again, I don't know if the black pigment will completely take over the glitter or not, or if we'll get some of those colours sparkling through. So we'll find out. So again, all of that is just been put in there, and it's just 2 level spoons. And now I'm going to mix it all around again, making sure it's all thoroughly mixed up. And then we're going to pour. And if you can just see there, you then get the black, but you can get the glitter coming through as well. And I think that's going to make an amazing background, hopefully. So, here we go. I'm not going to be able to see these blooms again until tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning, we will know whether or not they've worked. So, just going to wipe off my stick. And that's the great thing when you use silicone tools, guys. You just wipe them off and then they're ready to go on your next project. Simple as that. Give them a quick wipe. Baby wipe is what I use. Make sure all the resin's off it. And then that is ready to go for next time. And it's also why I'm gradually transitioning all of my cups to these silicone cups as well, because they're just so much easier to clean. So here we go. I'm going to try and spread this reasonably evenly and just make sure I get a bit of a layer on each coaster. Helps if I actually get it in the mould. Again, just trying to get a thin layer across the back of each, and hopefully the darkness of this black will really make the white bloom paste pop, is the plan. But it doesn't have to be a thick layer either, guys, with your backings. A thin layer is just as good as a thick layer. And I think for me, sometimes when you get coasters that are almost an inch thick, it's just too much. And that's why with these, the maximum I sort of go to is probably about 3/4 full. And at 3/4 full, for me, they look like a good size coaster. And I don't think you'd want them any thicker. So there we go. I think that's most of it. And again, I'm just going to scrape the rest out because there's no point leaving it in there. And put it in this one. And then just move it around to the sides, spreading it around, so that hopefully you get a nice even layer. Like so. And let me know in comments, guys, what do you think these are going to turn out like? I'm intrigued myself. And we will find out together tomorrow. So whatever happens, you will get to see the demold at the same time as me. But that's the way I do my experiments and my projects. Good and bad, you get to see the result. And I think it just shows you guys that, do you know what? We all make mistakes as well. And I'm not sure if these are going to turn out or not, but we will find out. So that's it. I'm going to torch the bubbles. Just going to wipe my stick again. And there we go. And then that is ready to go for next time. So all I'm going to do now is just, as I say, torch those bubbles on the surface and then leave them. And then we will demold these in the morning and see if we've got any cool effects. I'm hoping we have, but as I say, for me, I'm a little bit concerned about the weight of the bloom paste with the glitter and how heavily I put it in. So not convinced at this point, but I'll be happily surprised in the morning if I'm wrong. So I'll see you guys in the morning and then we'll demold. Morning, guys, and it is the next day and I'm excited for these. My first delve into glitter. Let's see if it's been a success or not. Slightly concerned with these coasters that it may have been a bit too heavy, especially since I mixed those two glitters together in that silicone pot without realizing. But we'll see what we've got either way. So I'm just going to demold the teddies first, which we're done with the spare, and I really love those. Just almost that sort of marbling effect with the glitter coming through. Absolutely stunning. And I think they're going to make great little pocket hugs or key rings. Again, another one there. So they've come out good. And again, I love these little teddy molds just for the using up your spare resin. All got a slightly different effect, and that was just from placing those Let's Resin alcohol inks into the mould directly and then putting in that spare white bloom and glitter mixture. And you'll have to bear with me. 6 of these little guys. And there we go. They all came out really well. So at least, if nothing else, I've got some great pocket hugs or key rings to make with these. But let me know what you think to them in comments. And it's such a simple technique, but yet really effective, I think. And here we go. Coaster time. And these are a little bit thicker than, oh, yep, I was right. And it's such a shame. I've got the blobs, guys. I thought it was a little bit too heavy the way that I mixed it, and I don't think it was the glitter that caused that. I think it was just the fact that it was a little bit heavy. On a positive note, I love the background. So I love the black with that sort of silver glitter. So I'm going to be using that again with another bloom. But unfortunately, that one's not as bad. And it's almost like a wispy effect on these petals. Don't know, I don't think that one's as bad. I think I could say that one was reasonably successful. So 1 out of 4 so far. But I do think it was just too heavy when it was piped in there. So I am going to try this again, guys. But I am going to experiment with glitter again as well, because I love that as a background. So I might just do some standard blooms with that black and glitter background, because I think that will really make them pop. But let me know what you think in comments. I think it's just a case of not every project goes the way that you'd hoped. And again, this one's not as bad. I don't think that one's blobbed as much. But if I'm being honest, I'm not a massive fan of the glitter in that bloom, and it hasn't, I think it's impacted the way it's bloomed as well. So what I'm going to try in the next experiment with these is I'm going to do the black background again, because if you look at the black with that silvery glitter, that looks stunning. But I'm going to do a standard bloom on the front and see what effect that makes. So unfortunately, bit of a failure with the blooms this time, guys, but it's one of those things, you know, you work with resin, not everything goes the way that you hope it will. And again, that one I don't mind, but the others for me are a little bit too heavy and blobby. And I think that was because of the fact that I mixed those two together, making it ultra heavy, even though I'd waited for the right temperatures. So it's just one of those things. When you work with resin, you learn from your mistakes. And again, another great positive is I've got these great little teddy bear key rings. So hope you've liked the content. If you have, like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next video, which will hopefully be more successful than these. See you next time, guys.